In the keynote announcement, Patrick LeBlanc showed how column-level security is as simple as unchecking columns available for a role, and row-level security is as simple as writing where clauses in SQL. These security rules will be enforced wherever the data is consumed, via Power BI, Excel, SQL endpoint, or even accessing Parquet files directly. Up until now, you've had to set row and column-level security directly in the SQL engine through grant and deny statements, but this would only be enforced when the data was accessed via the SQL endpoint. Those who had permissions on the lakehouse directly could bypass this, and it would be enforced in a semantic model only through a direct query connection. Any direct lake models would fall back to direct query if this was in place. With OneLake data access roles that were released last year, you were able to set permissions at a table or folder level. You could define security roles that grant read access to specific folders within a Fabric item and assign them to users or groups. The access permissions determine which folders users see when accessing the lake view of the data through the Lakehouse UX, notebooks, or OneLake APIs. This new feature of OneLake Security now replaces the OneLake data access role feature, as it is a more granular version of the same feature. You create OneLake security roles to grant users access to data within an item. Each role has 4 components: data, the tables or folders that users can access; permission, the permissions that users have on the data; members, the users that are members of the role; and constraints, the components of the data, if any, that are excluded from role access, such as specific roles or columns. Users that aren't part of a role can't see any data in that lakehouse. Let's have a look at the section of the keynote announcement.
Worth what we have.
Yes,
that's right. Seeing is believing.
Yeah, so no flawless talk. Let's head over to my laptop, right? So here in my Fabric workspace, you can see I created a beautiful medallion architecture using task flows. I can transform data. I can visualize data. I can even talk with my data and have a natural language conversation. Let's check out my data. So I'm gonna head over to the OneLake catalog, and you can see that I can search for different items. I can look at my items. I can get really granular and look at this by domains and item types.
But I see this red bulb there that seems like a warning light.
Yeah, so there's some restricted data here, and so I find out that I have some sensitive data here. You can see I have my customer financial summary in this lakehouse. And if I take a look at my lineage view, I can see everything that's happening upstream and downstream. But what I'm more concerned about is the permissions, and I notice that I have 2 culprits here, Adam and Kim. They have gotten access to my lakehouse in here, and I need to do some work. And if you see, when I jump over into my lakehouse, you can even see that my data is restricted. If you take a look at
there's the credit card numbers in there.
I gotta get rid of that. Yes. I gotta get rid of that. Kim cannot see that. Kim cannot see that. Kim cannot see my credit card information. So I'm gonna use OneLake Security, and it's really easy to set up OneLake Security. All you do is you give it a name. You just give it a name, select the data you want, and add the members in here. That's it. Once you're done, you see I've created 2 roles. I'm going to set up column level security and row level security. And it's just a few clicks. And so you go into edit, you choose the type of security you want, you find the table, go in and choose the type of security.
And we're going to remove from him the ability to see the credit card numbers?
Absolutely. We don't want her to see the credit card numbers. So once I do that with just a few clicks, and then I add her to this role, the next time she accesses this data, she's not going to see it. I'm going to show you, because she's probably going to call before this is over. Okay?
Now, well, we have Adam. Adam should see only the wingtip toys, right? That's the only product line he's allowed to see.
That's the only, because Adam only plays with toys, right? He doesn't do anything real. And so we go under wingtip toys, and I will switch over to row level security. And so instead of writing DAX, right? We used to write DAX, but now we've been writing T-SQL how long, Amir? For decades, since the 1900s. And so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna add Adam to this role, and when Adam signs in, he's only gonna see wingtip toys, and I guarantee you, both of them are gonna be called.
This is row level security.
This is row level security, that's right. So let's take a look at the report. This is what it looks like from an admin's perspective.
We can see that.
We can see that, right?
403 rows.
403 rows, all the buying groups,
credit card numbers, we can see the whole thing.
Right, we can see everything.
Right.
We can see everything. Adam's gonna call us. Watch. Just give it like 2 seconds. The phone's gonna start ringing. He's gonna call, and watch what's gonna happen when Adam opens up this Power BI report. He can only see 201 rows.
We have eliminated everything.
Yeah. And so I'm on the phone with him. He's like, "Oh, Patrick, I can only see these rows." I'm like, "That's the only thing you can see. You just play with toys, man. That's all you do. You're a manager now. You don't do anything real." And so, sorry. And so he says, "But hey, I used to be technical. I can write a little SQL. So he heads over to the analytics endpoint and he opens up the analytics endpoint and he starts writing a query. He only can write a select star because he doesn't know anything else. And so he writes this query. And then if you look in the bottom row, I go, Adam, you're only going to see 200 rows, but he doesn't trust me. And look,
It's still there.
but he still doesn't trust me. He goes, hey, I'm going to add a where clause to this. And I was impressed when he added this where clause because I didn't know he could do this. Right? So he added this where clause. He executed the query, and guess what happened? The exact same thing. I say, trust me, Adam. He goes, but Patrick, I'm going to leave Fabric. I'm going to leave Fabric and go into the OneLake Explorer, the OneDrive for data.
Oh, he's sneaky.
Oh, he's a sneaky one.
Yeah.
He's a sneaky one, right? And then when he double clicks this thing, guess what happened? Foiled again, Adam. You can't get to my data. Okay. And so after I got off the phone with Adam, guess who called? Kim. My boss's boss's boss, right? So Kim calls, and Kim's like, hey, I'm in a notebook. I'm like, what are you doing in the notebook, Kim? He goes, I'm writing a select star. Managers love select star. And so she writes this select star and she runs this query. When she executes a select star, she thought she was going to see credit cards.
There's no credit card.
They're gone. They're gone. She can't see it because Fabric works, OneLake Security works across all workloads. Now, Kim is Power BI. We all know Kim is Power BI. So she heads back to the OneLake catalog and she goes, hey, I'm going to use Power BI and create some fancy reports. Look at the pivot field list. What do you see?
There is no credit card.
There is no credit card information, Kim. You can keep writing, creating your fancy reports in Power BI. You should write some DAX, but you keep writing your fancy reports and everything. But then Kim goes, you know what? I've been doing this a long time too, Patrick. So I'm going to switch out and I'm going to go to Excel. I'm leaving Fabric just like Adam did. And I said, you're going to get the same result, Kim, just like Adam. What do you see, Emil?
No credit card.
No credit card information, right? Woo!
No direct link.
So, what did you think? Several customers I've spoken to have said that this was the one feature they're waiting for to use Fabric as their core enterprise data platform. And nowhere else can this be done across an entire data estate. Unity Catalog in Databricks, for example, only applies when data is accessed by Databricks, whereas with OneLake Security, it is enforced by whatever engine is accessing that data, including external engines such as Databricks. So this is definitely one of the biggest announcements of the conference, and I think will make a big shift in enterprise adoption of the platform.